Welcome to Stargate SG-1 for the first time. Still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I'm watching Stargate SG-1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm watching Stargate SG-1 for the 47th time. But for the first time, I'm watching this, dissecting it for those sci-fi messages. You know, those things that give us a hope that things are going to be better in the future, that hold up a mirror to society and tell us how awful we are, or just tell us how to be better human beings to one another. I'm looking at those messages for the first time going through the series.
That's right. Right now, we're supposed to talk about how things look and sound different, but this is the second week in a row we've used this setup.
Yeah.
I'm still here in Florida.
Yeah.
And going to be here for at least a couple more episodes.
Yeah, we're walking through that. Jeff, I want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw something at you.
All right.
I'm going to throw something at you. We actually had this conversation a little bit, and I wanted to save it for this moment.
Okay.
So, you know, we get the show going. We have some great episodes. You fly down here. You didn't come down here to do these episodes, but we're doing them while you're here. You only have a few more days left.
Exactly.
We only have a few more of these left to record together, and then we're back to our normal deal. We've been in a run of not amazing episodes while you've been here.
A little bit of a rut.
Yeah. So I want to throw something out, and I'm going to give you the choice live right here to decide how we want to do it.
Okay.
So while you're here, there is zero reason for the episodes to be watched in the order that we're watching them, except for that was the original air date. It will not matter until later in the season when you're going home anyway that we watch them in a specific order.
Right.
So we could watch Singularity, which is our next episode, or we could actually skip ahead. If you remember when we first started talking about doing this show, I said, okay, if you want to get a feel for what the show's like and kind of how we could do it, here are 3 episodes you could watch. I told you Children of the Gods.
Yep.
I told you The Nox, and I told you an episode called Enigma.
Enigma, yeah.
Now, Enigma comes 2 episodes after this one.
Okay.
I propose, if you want, we just skip ahead and watch Enigma. Now, we'll go back and watch Singularity later, and whichever one comes out in our feed first doesn't really matter.
Right. Exactly.
It'll just be back to the old thing and then back to this one.
Yeah.
But live here, just kind of, what do you think? What do you want to skip ahead and go ahead and do Enigma, or do you just want to stick in the air date order? I'm good either way.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
For the sole purpose. I mean, it'd be great to watch a good episode, but also I just want to make it look funny when people are watching it and it's like, oh, Jeff's back in Portland. Now he's back in What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening? So
that in my head, it's there's going to be 2 episodes of, like, let's just say we keep these in air date order as we release them, even though we're not recording them in that order. To me, in my head, it's funny of like, oh, here's a couple episodes that Jeff's in Florida. Oh, now Jeff's back home. Cool. Not a big deal. And then 2 episodes later, he's back in Florida. And we're like, yeah, this is why we did it, because those episodes, it's not. I will tell you of the next 2 episodes. One of them is not my favorite.
Okay.
And the other one is one that it's in that vein of like Brief Candle and Broke. Like, I like the episode, but it's not like a killer episode. A lot of people probably don't like it. I personally kind of do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see what I think of it. I don't know if you hear that. We have this weird moment. We're like, what? You might hear a little bit of this. Part of me being in Florida right now doing this means the dogs are also in here. That's how it's going to be. So we're going to watch this episode. We're going to get in. You're going to hear some of this while it's going on. And just pretend you're here in the studio with us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on location.
There you go. Yeah.
We're on location at Brent's house.
This is great. So let's get into the episode.
Yeah.
I remember last week I predicted that this was going to be a surprise episode because we skipped ahead to watch this one while I'm here.
Jeff, I would just like to take this moment to remind you that the episode titles of Stargate SG-1 very rarely ever make sense.
I feel like my 0 for 14 or whatever record on my predictions backs that up pretty well.
Sure. It absolutely is. Like, there's just not a lot to go on, and that's okay. The fact that you even attempt to make a prediction,
it's fun.
It is fun. Because I told you when we started this, you didn't have to do that. And you're just, let me pull something out of the air and see what happens.
I'm pretty game.
Yeah. All right. So this episode, Enigma, episode 17 of season 1, original air date, January 30th, 1998. Now, what you will have known from Singularity 2 episodes ago is Singularity came out in mid-January of 1998. The previous episode that we watched, which was Hathor, came out on Halloween.
Yeah.
So, which think about, remember Halfer?
Right.
We just watched it last night, right? That was a Halloween episode.
It totally was. It was kind of horror-y. And
yeah. So there has been a bit of a break for the folks at home.
Okay.
Not that it matters to you whatsoever. This is a Catherine Powers episode. Joe.
Oh, okay.
We're back to her.
Didn't take long to get back.
No. For those of you who are just joining us, Catherine Powers brought us such hits as Emancipation, but also The Nox,
Right.
Brief Candle, Thor's Hammer, Fire and Water. She brought us that one as well.
It's pretty incredible. She owns like the number 2, like the second and the bottom spots.
Yeah.
In this thing, like she is the bread of the Stargate SG-1 sandwich right now.
This will be her last for season 1, sort of, pretty much.
Okay.
We'll explain that later.
Okay.
You'll understand that later. It's not a big deal. A couple guest stars in this episode I do want to point out ahead of time, because we're going to meet some fun new characters.
Okay.
We're going to meet there's a guy named Garwin Sanford. Do you know him?
Garwin Sanford.
Yeah. He's one of those like kind of that guy faces.
Okay.
You know, like you just sort of seen him. He's been around a lot of genre work, sci-fi stuff, Canadian actor.
Okay.
He's going to play a character named Nareem. Do you know Tom McBeath?
Tom McBeath.
Yeah, not at all. He's going to play Colonel Mayborn.
Colonel Mayborn.
Colonel Mayborn. Yeah, a new colonel. And you're going to learn all about him. But then you're also going to meet a guy. I'm curious if you know the actor's name, Tobin Bell.
I recognize the name.
Okay, have you seen the Saw movies?
Oh, heck yeah.
He is Jigsaw.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that
okay.
guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that guy. Like, he's a legit actor.
And this isn't, Saw was not too long after this. This is
I'm not sure.
a couple years.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
forget.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he certainly brings a bit of gravitas to this episode.
Yeah.
Not quite David Werner in Babylon 5,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but there's certainly some stuff there. So let's go ahead and jump into this episode, Enigma. If you're joining us for the first time, what's going to happen is Jeff and I are going to go watch the episode right now in the middle of the recording. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see the reaction video. If you're on Patreon, you actually get the unedited version, which is super cool. If you're interested in that, go to patreon.com/Babylon5 first, or if that link doesn't work anymore, just check down below. We'll have it in the show notes.
If you're listening on an audio podcatcher like Good Pods or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those things, you're going to hear a little whoosh, a little break, another whoosh, and when we come back, we will have just finished watching the episode. What we're going to do there is I'm going to dive into for the first time reactions, and Brent's going to share any sci-fi messages that he might have pulled out of the episode. Brent, what do you say we start this bad boy?
Let's get it.
Chevron 7 locked.
You know what's so great about the Planet of the Week motif? You never really know where our intrepid galactic explorers are going to gate into. This week, it's kind of like Pompeii, about 24 and a half hours after Mount Vesuvius erupts. Volcanoes are going off, ash is settling everywhere, covering everything, including some humans. They're all dead. Well, except for this one over here, and there's that one, and then that one, and there's another one over there. It's about a half a dozen all told. Despite their pleas to leave them be, SG-1 does the noble thing, scoops them up, and brings them back to the safety of good old Gaia. Except their leader, Omak, well, he wants to play a game. This game is to see who can be the most standoffish. Is it him or him? One of the other Tolan, because that's who these people say they are, the Tolan. One of the others, Nareem, well, he's a lot more soft-spoken, and he takes a liking to Sam, and really, who could blame him? The SGC promises to help the Tolan find a new place. They're doubtful. But no, seriously, we've met some cool people along the way. Hey, how do you feel about the ancient Minoans? Minoans? No way. They're way too backwards and primitive for the Tolan. Actually, come to think of it, even you guys here on Earth, you're also too primitive for us Tolan. Well, that's music to someone's ears, because right then enters Colonel Mayborn. He's a skeezy sort of guy sent by the Pentagon to try to get some advanced tech info out of the Tolans. Except the Tolans, who totally aren't prisoners at all, are placed under lockdown. That's no problem for them, because they've got tech that lets them just walk right through the wall. Yeah, they're definitely way smarter than us. Turns out they just needed to do a little stargazing, and the SGC folks find them before it's too long. Bring them back. Please, Mr. Tolan, wouldn't you share your super advanced tech with us?
Nay, they say, because they've had a bad experience one time giving their tech to an underdeveloped race, and within a year, they used it to blow themselves up. Well, since then, they've developed what we shall simply say is the Prime Directive. Only we're on the other end of it now. Hammond seems to be able to accept that, but Mayborn can't, and the Pentagon can't, and they've authorized and ordered Mayborn to bring the Tolan back. Jack? He's kind of in the middle. But Daniel, who's totally a Trekkie, because you absolutely get that vibe, he gets it, and he offers to help the Tolan. In fact, he might be the only one who can. So they take him and use their walk-through-walls technology again and take Daniel back outside, who gives them some coordinates for another old familiar planet. They shoot a beam of light into the sky. It's supposedly a message, and wait. Well, they don't have to wait long, because back downstairs, the gate opens, and our dear old friend Laia the Nox comes walking through the gate. The Tolan accept their offer to come and stay with them for a while. Mayborn threatens to court-martial Jackson, but Jack reminds him that Daniel is a civilian, can't court-martial him, which is why he was the perfect guy to do this. Mayborn orders his men to fire, but Laia sighs, rolls her eyes, waves her hand, and makes the guns and the Tolan disappear. Prior to leaving herself, Laia says to Daniel, "Your race has learned nothing, but you have." And with a smile, she lays her finger on the side of her nose, and up the chimney she rose, leaving everyone else behind, including Daniel, who repeats a line an old friend once said: "The very young do not always do as they're told."
All right, Jeff, you've just seen Enigma for the first time. What about it?
This was such a great Star Trek episode.
Right?
But what I love about it is I'm not even exaggerating. This was 100% a Star Trek episode, all the way down to like the costumes they were wearing. But it was a Star Trek episode shown from the point of view of the people on the planet the Enterprise goes to. You know, like Planet of the Week. Mm-hmm. We were the Planet of the Week for these people.
Yep.
So I really appreciated how it presented the Prime Directive question from the other point of view.
Yeah. Jeff, I know there has been a Star Trek episode where the crew had the Prime Directive being applied to them and they didn't like it. I feel like it maybe was a Voyager episode. They ran into somebody in the Delta Quadrant more advanced and they wouldn't share their technology to help them get home.
They had it wasn't trans warp, but they had some warp that was like 10 times as fast as theirs. They wouldn't, and they even tried to steal it.
And we saw it in Picard season 1. Mm-hmm. They brought it home in Picard season 1. So but I feel like that might've been even a TNG episode or something. It might not have been. Anyway. It's basically, what do you do when the Prime Directive works against you?
Yeah. I thought it was great.
So it's a great Star Trek episode. Yeah. To turn it on its head. Right?
Yeah, it's really cool perspective on it. The characters in this were great. You know, I think this episode suffered from some really bad effects, from some bad costumes, but the acting was really good.
Yeah.
The Nareem and Omak were super believable. What I really liked in the way they put this together was they portrayed Omak as like this hard ass bad guy that was going to be the problem, but he was right. Mm-hmm. Like when we learned the story, behind why he didn't want to be there. They not only did they destroy a planet by sharing technology, destroying that planet destroyed their planet. Mm-hmm. Catastrophic, literally catastrophic.
Yeah. His attitude literally comes from, I'm trying to protect you.
Exactly.
You dumbos.
You don't even,
you don't know what you're asking me to do for you.
Again, like with it being a Star Trek episode, and I said this when we were watching the episode, this was the first episode of Strange New Worlds where this, commensurate to us advanced race saw the battle that led to the Red Angel stuff and Discovery, and they were able to leverage warp technology from it, get a warp bomb, and they were going to blow stuff up, but Pike came in and saved the day. In their case, he didn't save the day, and so Omak he's doing the only thing he could do. Was
he's measuring how much he's telling them and communicating with them and trying not to give them too much.
I think I'm frustrated just from an accountability standpoint in that, like, within the first 48 seconds of this episode, they said, "Don't help us." And then they did. And it's like, I get it. I get that they would do that. That's, again, a Star Trek thing to do, a sci-fi thing to do. But it would be cool if there was some comeuppance around, like, hey, if you just listened to us in the first place, none of this would have happened.
He said, "Don't help us." And then the next thing we heard was, well, you guys would have been dead before your ship arrived. And he said, well, perhaps that's more of a problem for you than us, intimating it would have been okay. They would have got our bodies. We would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then later they came back and maybe not explicitly said, but kind of spelled out that, yeah, your ship wasn't going to be there in time. You would have been melted by the lava. And he's like, and the rest of the people are like, hey, we're glad to actually be alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there is the like, for saving us, even though we told you not to.
A little bit.
Like,
yeah. Because I think Nareem was really, one of the first things he said was, hey, thanks. I'm glad to be alive. Omak is too. You know, he's not going to tell you.
He's not going to say it. Yeah.
But
which, by the way, that's probably my dad.
Really?
My dad would be like grateful for something. He would be thankful for something. He would like the dinner that you made, but he's not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, at least for me. He won't do that for me. I love him, but you know, he might do it for other people, but for me, he's like, that's all right.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Thanks, Dad.
And Mom would be like, dude, Brent, he loved it.
Yeah. Clearly, Mom. Clearly.
Yeah. He literally ate everything. And then you took leftovers home and all of those were eaten too. So clearly he was fine.
Yeah.
But
you would have killed him to tell me that. I enjoyed the Nareem and Sam storyline.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done because it bordered on corny. It was right there. I'm like, but they didn't play it too hard. I liked that they approached a romantic relationship from a future perspective. It wasn't just like, I mean, they kissed, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, we're going to culminate in this big kiss. I feel like the culmination of their relationship was actually him handing her his emotions. Like, how cool is that? How cool and how scary is that?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Before we gate into the rest of this episode, did you know you're missing most of the content from this podcast? Stargate SG-1 for the first time has an active and exciting Patreon that you can join right now by clicking the link in the show notes. Not only will you get access to the full, unedited podcast and reaction videos, you'll also be able to join a growing, vibrant, maybe even an intergalactic community. Subscribers even get access to all of our content from Babylon 5 for the first time. Don't miss out on this content and the amazing people. Just click the link in the show notes. Tilk thinks you should do it right now.
Indeed.
Listen, I'm just saying, Sam, go home. She's going to be, about ready for bed. She's going to look over and this thing's going to be on her nightstand.
Uh-huh.
And she's going to have some emotions.
Yeah. She's going to sit in those emotions for a while. But no, it's good. I think sci-fi does not do a good job with romance. Like,
in general,
it's really not well done.
Yeah.
This was really well done. It was believable. Yeah. Everything was good. I liked the use of the Schrodinger, as the cat and just kind of as a measuring stick of how advanced these people are. So I thought that was a cool idea. We've seen, I talked about this in earlier episodes, all these planets are seeded with humans that were on Earth.
Yeah.
And the Gould took them out and did the Gould stuff with them. And it's like, gosh, they're just still the Minoans. They're still this. Like, wouldn't have there been advancements or whatever? The answer is yes.
This is it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. There would be if the conditions were right.
Yeah.
And in this case, the conditions were right for them and they became super advanced. I know that Colonel Mayborn, his role is not new.
Yeah.
We had, I forget his name.
Kennedy.
We had Colonel Kennedy before. But is this the first time we've heard NID?
I think it might be.
What is NID?
NID is basically the organization that so you remember the Stargate, their mission, part of their mission is to bring back technology from other worlds to defend the planet against future alien encounters. And let's face it, this is in the hands of the military. Bring back technology that we can use to dominate the planet on some, like that's also going to be there, right?
Yeah.
NID is the branch that would be tasked specifically with taking that technology and doing the thing with it to make it.
They're going to reverse engineer it. They're going to repurpose
it.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's some other people that like, they're kind of they're the ones that want that technology to do that stuff with. And presumably it's altruistic and they're going to use it to defend the planet.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe defeat those guys that we don't like over there.
Exactly. Yeah. And probably find a way to say by eliminating those other people, it's helping us against the aliens or something like that. Yeah. One of my favorite things about this episode is it's one of the first true serializations of of the series. We've had a couple like the Shara Skara conversation. That plot point has been mentioned a couple times.
Yeah,
but that's it. It's only been mentioned. It's like this reminder. Hey, remember we're trying to do this thing. This is the first time that we actually like interacted with and leveraged a relationship with a whole race that we had met before. Two races.
I was gonna say, not just the one.
Yeah, we had it was just God, what a cool storytelling device to do it. Hey, we have these refugees here. We need to find a place to relocate them. Oh, broke a divide planet. You'll be great. And the people came and we
helped them out. We did some good stuff. Maybe they'll. Yeah, we've got lots of stuff. I felt so bad for Tupelo, I think was his name. He's like, hey, we've got all this stuff. We'd love to have you. Yeah. And Omok's just like, no,
you're children.
You're I can't awful. Yeah. And I can't accept, like, it's so, the brashness of it is, I think, makes it so shocking because he's so rude about it.
He's so harsh. I mean, later you come to understand why, with what happened.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it right. You can still be nice.
Well, and I think that's
he doesn't have he probably doesn't have time for nice, Well,
I think Nareem shows us that he did.
That's fair.
I think this is a Star Trek episode flipped on its head, but it's also flipped on its head in that, like, if it was Picard, he would have found a more diplomatic way of turning the broken divide people down.
Yeah.
Like he would have cared about how they thought. He'd still say no, but he would have had that bit of compassion.
Yeah,
we get to see a little different piece, but. So they used the Nox, and so they had this really cool communication device that basically said, "Hey, here's what's going on." Timed it all out. The Nox came. They're going to go live on their planet. Hardcore. That Nox lady,
Laya, yeah,
just with her arms, just like whoosh.
Yeah,
didn't engage any chevrons.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
No whoosh.
Yeah, at all.
No whoosh.
Just opened it up.
Rolled her eyes at everybody. And made their guns disappear. And was like, you guys, seriously.
You children.
You're not a threat.
It's like, just stop. Just stop. And she even said, she's like, you haven't learned anything.
Mayborn's up there like, stop them. And they're like, you're not stopping us.
Good luck. Good luck. I'm literally one person. I'm going to shut you all down.
Yeah.
It did strike me, though. So what we learned about the Nox in the Nox was they had all these more advanced technologies. We interpreted one of their technologies as invisibility, but it was more than that. It was, different. Yeah. We didn't get the deep dive really on it. But I wonder, we saw some of the Tolan technology in this one, which was kind of, I'm going to call it phasing.
Yep.
Where they kind of take their body, they could walk through the walls. We postulated that they could dodge, have bullets go through them because they're walking through people.
I feel like if Omok was here, and we're like, oh, so it's like phasing. Like when you get knocked out of phase, you can go through the thing, but you don't have to worry about going through the floor.
Right.
And he would be like, no, I'm not going to explain that. That's not at all what it is.
It's so much more than that.
Like folding space is not a thing.
Yeah. He's going to say, yes, everything that you said is true, but it's not that at all.
Right.
Oh, exactly. What is it? And then he's going to basically take the role of any religious leader and he's going to say, it's a mystery. And we're just supposed to go, oh, okay.
Gotta have faith.
But I got to wonder, is there a connection, a relation, but in their level of technology? I feel like the core technology between the invisibility and the phasing could be the same thing.
Could be.
And it just kind of hit me when she opened that up that there might be more similarities in their development path.
I think the idea, though, that you have the Tolan who've been through what they've been through, meeting up with the Nox, who are clearly a pacifistic race.
Yes.
But it's cool because their technology allows them to be pacifistic.
Pacifist and completely protected. They're not. They're pacifist, but they're not defenseless,
which is perfect for the Tolan.
Yeah,
that's like who the Tolan are trying to be. Yeah,
we just want to go live.
Yeah, we just made the stupid mistake of letting somebody have our technology, and that wasn't good.
Yeah, we learned from that mistake. And I mean, yes, they destroyed 2 planets with that mistake, but they are demonstrating they learned from it. It's not a waste.
Yeah,
It's good. Those are my first time reactions to this.
All right.
What kind of sci-fi messages did you find in it?
So, when we talk about the sci-fi messages, we give 3 examples. We give like 3 litmus tests. We say, does it hold up a mirror to society? Does it show us how we can be better human beings to each other? Or does it give us hope for the future? All right. Well, let's just take those one by one. A mirror to society. This episode completely showed us a mirror to society. specifically in looking at Hammond versus Mayborn.
Yes.
Or Jack versus Mayborn. There are elements of our society that are really good. There are people in our society that are really good. And I'm speaking that to the American society,
Mhm.
and I'm going to speak this to the world society. I'm guessing whatever country you find yourself in, this is probably true of your country as well, because this is a mirror to
society.
everything. Right. There are really good people. There are also really awful people.
Well, to be fair, there
Yeah.
are people that make really good choices and people that make really bad choices.
Yes.
And
See,
bad.
Well, some people
Maybe, but I think intrinsically,
right.
we're all good.
Well, even those bad people are heroes in their own story and are justified to themselves
what they're
in what they're doing. Yeah. So but point being, they're real, like, we really are this sort of amalgam of the two,
Mhm.
you know, and both exist, which shows exactly why you can have a program like Stargate to go out, like, hey, we're not going to use this technology to do bad. No, but there are people in your society that will.
And they're right
that's
here.
a problem.
Yeah, they're right here now.
And turns out they can get an order from somebody in an office somewhere to actually countermand all of this and go against everything that your society stands for anyway. Like, mirror to society, check that box.
There it is.
Okay. How about how to be better human beings, how to be better to each other.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to phrase it like this, and then we'll have to talk about it just a bit. Sometimes I think this episode teaches us, sometimes doing what is right is not what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
What I mean by that was, in this episode, what Hammond and Jack and Daniel and Teal'c and Sam and all the people at SGC were supposed to do, what they were ordered to do by their commander in chief, was turn over the Tolan to Mayborn and the NID.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the right thing to do.
Right.
And they did what they needed to do. They figured it out. They had the loophole with Daniel, who couldn't be court-martialed. And, you know, they said no civilian law is going to cover this.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure there's probably a military law that even in the top secret nature still can cover this.
Yeah.
All that notwithstanding, they figured out a way to get around it and to do the right thing. That is such a Star Trek thing.
Yeah.
Of how are you not supposed to do this, but still do the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think that's absolutely true for us as humans, and to be better, that in order to do the right thing as a human being, you have to go against the thing that you're told to do, you're ordered to do, you're supposed to do.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you spend all of your waking moments watching reality TV? Well, you're in good company. I'm Will.
And I'm Marissa, and we're the hosts of Cheers to Chaos Reality TV and Cocktails, a new weekly podcast that covers the ever so entertaining and cringy world of reality television.
Each week, we'll be raising our glasses and diving into the latest drama and chaos from our favorite reality TV shows.
From 90 Day Fiancé to The Bachelor, we've got all your reality favorites covered.
So grab a drink and join us as we clink our glasses to the hilarious and delightful train wrecks of reality TV.
Subscribe now to Cheers to Chaos Reality TV and Cocktails on your favorite podcast platform.
It's one of the main things I, as a executive level manager, do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Hey, we're being told this thing, or there's a process, there's this protocol or something, and it's not the right thing to do in this situation. So you go do what's right. I'm going to go take the heat for us doing it, but we're going to take care of it. You're going to be good.
Yeah.
I'll go take the bullets. I can take it. That's my job,
Right. Whatever.
And maybe in doing this, we can even move the needle a little bit and change some of those things. There's a version of this where the NID people over time start to see that, wow, maybe by doing these things, we do get better results.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So through example, by questioning and through example, we can eventually change minds. We didn't see minds change here, but I think just that concept of question authority.
Yeah. So mirror to society, check. How to be better human beings to each other, check. The last litmus test that we use is hope for the future, hope for being better. You referenced it a little bit earlier. Live coming through the gate, looking around, a little exasperated, says, your race has learned nothing.
Yeah.
And then she looks at Daniel and goes, but you have. The hope, Jeff, that it's going to take us as individuals learning it that can spill over. We're not all stuck and mired in this way that we are. We can grow.
Yeah.
We can evolve. We can get better as a people group, as a race. We have that ability to improve. Daniel showed that. So yes, there is hope that we can be better in the future.
Yeah.
In this.
I loved the story I'm piecing together in this. So the president was really hardcore, and even on the phone to Hammond was like, give us the aliens.
Yes.
Move them over.
Hey, fun fact real quick. When this came out, the president would have been President Clinton.
Yep.
The previous election for him would have been in 1996 when Daniel said, I voted for him. He was on Abydos during that election.
Hey, yeah.
Although he wouldn't have been on Abydos for the 1990 election when he got elected the first time. So maybe it was that one,
right.
But it's still like.
Maybe he had an absentee ballot.
Right.
Or maybe it was those such crooked voter laws that all the states apparently have that they don't. Depends on where you get your news, right? but that's the thing. He says, I voted for him. So the president's doing bad stuff, or what they perceive bad stuff. I voted for them. So we voted for him. He grew. He changed. The Nox recognized that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a pervasive thought in our society, and I can't speak for other cultures, but I'm going to assume a lot of them have the same thought. If I want to affect change, I have to elect a person to go do that. I have to find a leader that I'll throw my lot in with. I'll walk through the streets of the oldest city in a country with a Bluetooth speaker and a big flag saying, my dude won. And I'll do it for hours.
Oh my gosh.
Hours. I'm going to do that.
Folks, he's speaking from personal experience right now.
Literally happened to us yesterday. Like,
right.
I mean, good for her, right? I mean, she's got a hobby and she's getting her steps in.
Listen, she's definitely getting her steps in.
Just doing her thing. It's good.
She was there all day.
All day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy. You all went home. I stuck around for a while. She was still.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. I believe it.
It's wild.
Yeah.
The reality is, though, it matters who you vote for. All that stuff truly matters. But that's not what's going to change the world. That's not what's going to move things forward. You as an individual, Daniel as an individual, changing one person at a time. That's what does it. Personal accountability.
When I was in high school, the locker room, they had these weird quippy sayings on the side of the wall, and one of them, it just seems so weird for a high school, like, cause it seems so elementary, but I still remember it. It just said, if it's up to be, it's up to me. It's so cheesy, but it's right. You're absolutely true. And Jeff, just to lend a little credibility, I think, to what you're saying, in your job, you often deal with elected officials and people like that. And so your point of being, it's not just the people we elect that we let them go do it. You literally can do it yourself.
Yeah. One person.
And give us hope that we can be better.
Exactly.
And you know what? If one person gets better and then another person gets better and another person gets better, guess what? That's 3 people who just got better. We're getting better as a society.
Those 3 people go and get 3 people.
Yes.
And then those 3 people go and get 3 people. And pretty soon you have this money-making machine of people being cool to each other.
Yes. Join?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's sign up. What does it cost?
Jeff, this is a 5 Chevron episode.
Yeah.
All the way through.
I can't disagree
at
all. At all.
It literally checked every single box.
The whole episode, I'm just like, hey, this is a cool episode. I'm enjoying it. It's got some neat stuff in it, but this is going to be Brent's run, because that's what the show is, laying it all out.
Right. Jeff, I did 5 chevrons. That is a rating of how strong the message is. The other question is, how good was this episode? And to do that, you, my friend, are going to rank this episode on our 100% completely accurate definitive ranking. Now, the last couple of weeks, I've come from the bottom up. This week, I'm going to go from the top down. The top 5 currently, as it sits in order, is the Torment of Tantalus, phenomenal episode. The Nox preceded this episode. Cold Lazarus, the chilling episode. The Schindler's List, I think we've said of the show. Brief Candle, which was fun. Jack Gets Really Old. And then Bloodlines, the Teal'c episode. Your favorite character, by the way.
Yeah, big time.
Jeff, I don't know if this episode is going to crack the top 5 for you. Where do you place this episode in the ranking?
You were correct in listing the top 5 and not the bottom 5 for this one. That said, it's not going to crack the top 5.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we've talked a little bit about this already, so right now, Children of God sits at number 7, Thor's Hammer at number 8. Now, just reminding everyone, we're recording this out of order.
It is true.
Right. So we have 13 ranked. This will be our 14th ranked right now. We're going to go back and get the other ones in a different order.
Yep.
So at this point, I'm just looking specifically at Children of the Gods and Thor Hammer. Those are good episodes. Now you get below that, you got Fire, Water, Enemy Within. So not so much. Like there's a pretty big gap in those things.
There's a pretty delineated line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, our top 8 are
pretty strong.
They're great episodes.
Yeah.
This one's definitely going to be in the top 8.
Okay.
The sad thing is it pushes at least one of those out of the top 8.
That just means the top 9 episodes are great episodes.
Exactly.
That's all it means.
And I am having a tough time putting this where I know I'm going to put it because I feel like it should be higher. But when I look at these episodes, I can't put it above any of them on here. Brent, this is going to be our new number 8, right under Children of the Gods.
Wow. That is way lower than I like. To me, this would have been number 3. Like there would have been Torment of Tantalus, there would have been Nox, and there would have been Enigma. Really? It is up. There's no way you could look at me. Now I've watched the show 47 times. All right. I'm pretty engrossed in the show. There's no way you can look at me and tell me that Enigma was 5 places lower than Brief Candle. Brief Candle is a middle of the road episode that was very good when we first saw it because we were only 6 episodes in.
Yeah.
But taking it as a whole. Now that is Brent having seen this with that idea. Part of the project of doing a first time watch is how does the episode actually stand up on its own? And that's where you place it. And that's where it's going to be, folks.
Yeah.
I don't get to change it. I don't get a say in it. I just get to share your guffaw at what this guy over here just did. So anyway, that is going to do it for us here with Enigma. Jeff, would you like to know what we're watching next time?
I would.
I'm very curious to see what you're going to do with this because I will remind you that very few titles ever actually give away the episode at all. So you're just going to pull grasp for straws and we're going to laugh at you. If you choose to do it, you could pass this one. The next episode is titled Solitudes. Would you care to take a guess as to what Solitudes might possibly be about?
I know exactly what it's going to be about.
No, you do not. Okay.
100%.
All right.
So the episode is going to literally start with General Hammond chasing. They're going to be like walking down the stairs that come up from the thing and down to the Stargate. It's going to be O'Neill and then Hammond behind him. And he's going to be like, when you get back from planet PX347A, then we need to go and do this thing with Dr. Fraser. Dr. Fraser is going to become an important part of this. They're going to go, SG-1 is going to go into the Stargate. They're going to do their mission.
Yeah.
We're not going to see any of it. They're going to be there, and we're going to see some of the people in the base, like 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes worth of stuff of people in the base doing their stuff. And then they're going to come back through, be a day later, and they're going to go in for that mandatory, what I have decided is the mandatory check-in with Dr. Fraser after they come through the Stargate.
Yep.
And she's going to find something wrong. And they're going to be put into quarantine. They're going to be in solitude.
That would make sense. Yeah.
And so this thing that they have is going, and this is similar to some of the episodes we've already had, but this is going to like ramp it up where they're going to have something that just makes them a little more aggressive and kind of builds while they're in the thing. And so we're going to get arguments between Daniel and Sam, Tilk and Jack, and the stuff that builds up a lot of tension and brings up whole like, you shouldn't have left me on Abydos and I hate you for it. And it's going to culminate in a big Jack and Daniel conflict. That's what it's going to be about.
All right. Here's the thing. To an extent, you're not wrong about a future episode of Stargate SG-1, really? Just not Solitudes. Fair enough. Folks, hey, listen, we'll find out exactly what Solitude. Well, we probably already know, unless this is your first time through, in which case enjoy Solitudes. It's a phenomenal episode. Well, I think it's a phenomenal episode. I'm going to leave it up to Jeff to decide, am I right that it's a really good episode, or am I just in other eyes? Anyway, that's going to do it for us right here on Stargate SG-1 for the first time. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this adventure. This is this analysis podcast reaction video all smushed up into one. It's kind of a weird thing to do, but here we are doing it. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, share wherever you're watching this, whether it's on Patreon or YouTube, or you're on an audio podcast somewhere. If you have the ability to leave a rating and review, please do that. That helps so much. And then the other thing you can do is be sure to share this video with someone that you know that needs to watch some Stargate SG-1 for the first time, or maybe for the 47th time. Look for the messages in it, actually doing more than just watching. So with that, we're going to get out of here now. Thank you guys so much. So until next time, my name's Brent. This is Jeff.
Hey, Brent.
Oh my gosh. What's up, Jeff?
I was thinking, so we are filming this out of order, right? We talked about that a couple times in this. And I was thinking that until we watch Singularity, we are both out of order and in order until we observe the episode.
For crying out loud.